Hello, I'm John Dickerson of CBS News. I'm here with Amy Walter of the Cook Political Report. Amy, we're at the tail end of the Ted Cruz filibuster. Although it's not a filibuster, we can leave the terminology aside. What I want to ask you is, does he emerge from this process as a force, a greater force in the Republican Party, or has he flamed out? Has he had his moment and it's over?
Right. I think he's both things. Or he's definitely a force with the risk of a flame out. But I guess the better question is he stronger now within the Republican Party? Yes, I think he has now taken his name ID to a place where it hadn't been before. Look, the guy's been in the Senate for what, like 15 minutes, and suddenly now he has one of the longest records.
He's been filibustering longer than he's been in the Senate.
That's a very good point. And that is an excellent point. So everybody knows who Ted Cruz is now, right? They didn't know who he was. I mean, the hardcore did, but he certainly brandished his conservative credentials. He knows how to get the votes from the base. What he hasn't proven yet is his ability to appeal beyond the base. And if he's going to be a 2016 contender, that's why it's the question about, is he more than a Flash? Right. If he really wants to run for 2016, which everybody's saying this is about, then can he show that he can do more than just rev up the base?
You and I have spent some time with Republican senators, and some of them are not Ted Cruz fans for a number of reasons, and we can talk about that in a minute. But going into this filibuster, there was the feeling that basically he's destroying the party. He's linked this Obamacare gambit with the shutdown, and it's going to lead to, total disaster. We seem to be in a different place now than that. I mean, and I'm not quite sure.
He's still putting, so he put a lot of Republicans, especially those in leadership, in a tough bind, right? And Republicans in the House feel like they went out on a limb, and now they're going to get back a bill that may be worse than the one that they sent over to the Senate, right? They may have to swallow stuff they didn't want, in part because of the shortened time frame, and blame it on Ted Cruz. Plus, they raised expectations. Ted Cruz raised expectations of the base that none of them could fulfill. So they don't like that piece either. But at the end of the day, what Ted Cruz is going to be remembered for is the guy who stood on the floor without going to the bathroom for 20 hours to talk about how bad a very unpopular program already is.
And I think at its center, what makes him attractive is that there are people in the Republican base, and also just in politics in general, voters who think, we've been lied to and kicked in the stomach so much over the years. Here is a person just standing up and saying something they believe in against lots of calls for him to sit down and shut up from everybody, from the establishment to the media. And he's just doing like this very basic thing, even if he's going to lose, and that is refreshing in a world in which you're constantly fed a diet of despair and disillusionment because people never live up to what they say.
That's right. So that works, again, that works great for a Republican base that is already anti-establishment, believes that not just Democrats, but Republicans have sold them that bill of goods, right? But what I think it also helps to do, if you are the GOP establishment, and look, you're right, we talked to a lot of these folks who are a part of that establishment with a capital E. They're not very popular themselves, but what they do have is access to money. What they do have is access to influence. And, it's one thing to not make friends with your colleagues. It's another thing to make enemies. And this guy's made enemies, and what they will do to him, either behind the scenes or publicly, is going to be very interesting to see come 2016.
Right. If he runs for president, you could imagine a super PAC well funded by establishment forces going out to attack Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Amy Walter, thanks so much.